Hey guys, welcome back. We have a midweek energy update to get into as we move through our Thanksgiving week. Now, we've got a couple of things going on Wednesday and Thursday of this week. First of all, on Wednesday, we have that grand trine and water signs that I've been talking about for weeks now, again, being reactivated, but this time by Venus as she is moving through the sign of Scorpio, trining Jupiter in Cancer, trining Saturn in Pisces. There could be some serious connections or commitments or investments or pieces of things coming together in a way that lays new foundations, begins to structure or form something taking place in the energy of this week. There is a level, I think, of seriousness or significance somehow intertwined with the connectivity going on between people or the financial dynamics of things. We on Thursday have a lunar T-square that is going to take place as the moon is transiting through the sign of Aquarius, squares Venus. Venus is making the most aspects this week. This is a very Venus, love and money, relationship connection, finances oriented week. And the moon will square Venus and oppose Uranus, who are building into an opposition right now as well. People could be surprising you on Thursday. Things may not exactly go according to plan. There could be unexpected developments that come in the context of relationships or financial situations somehow. And we also on Thursday, you guys, have Saturn stationing direct. Now, this is going to bring a vibe shift. Saturn is now about to conclude over this next couple of months his transit of the sign of Pisces that's been ongoing since 2023. There is a chapter closing with this, and I do think again that things are probably going to start moving forward, coming into formation, the pieces coming together to be able to advance or move on in some type of a way, and there could be some big moves that are being made this week. So we've got some things to talk about, you guys. Let's get in the report. Let's take a closer look at how our energy is lining up for us as we move through the midpoint of our week this week and what it might mean as we head towards the weekend. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Wednesday, November 26th, 2025. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day where we are narrating the shift of the ages. And if you guys stick with me until the end of this report, I have done a collective tarot reading for us today as well. I like to tap the energy field from more than one modality whenever I'm doing these energy overviews just to get an alternative energetic perspective on what's going on out there. So there could be some messages in there for you. We're going to do that at the end. We've got some things to talk about as I have stated, as I mentioned in my intro. Our grand trine in water, you guys, is back on Wednesday of this week. Venus will be moving 24 to 25 degrees of the sign of Scorpio. Jupiter is currently at 24 degrees of Cancer. Saturn is currently stationing at 25 degrees of Pisces. So as Venus hits that 24 to 25 degree mark, she is reactivating our grand trine and water signs right now. If you guys have been following my channel or the astrology generally, then you're probably already aware that this is a very rare and powerful manifestation window that we're moving through right now with these two planets in a trine like this together. This is a profoundly visionary and also master builder type of energy. If you can conceive it, you can create it in this energy. This is about turning some type of dream into the reality. It's about being able to take the vision, pull it out of the ethereal plane, plant the seed of that vision in the physical plane, and it's having a lot more energetic support in its process of material growth at this point in time. Saturn forms things, Saturn structures things. Saturn is in the sign of Pisces, which is the invisible plane. This is where the seed of the vision that will then become that manifestation originates. And then Jupiter is about growth, and Jupiter is about expansion, and in the sign of Cancer, this is the nurturing also that is needed in order for that growth to occur. So these two planets in this aspect, and it's a sustained aspect. It has been, again, it's been going on for several weeks now, and it is going to persist for the next several months. So, use the time that we're moving through right now. Use your time wisely, okay? This week, it's Venus that is filling out the third leg of that water trine. And again, we've been talking about this specific aspect, even though it's just a trine between these two planets, they're both in water signs. And we happen to be moving through Scorpio season right now, which is the third water sign. So as all of the personal planets, the sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars are transiting through Scorpio during our Scorpio season, they are all like one by one coming to the correct degree range to make that trine, that sustained trine between Jupiter and Saturn, a grand trine. And this is in water signs, of course. So there is this abundant flow of emotional energy that is supporting us in literally like creating whatever it is that we are holding within the depths of our mind's eye at this point in time. And I have been saying, mind your thoughts, be careful what your imagination is doing, keep your inner vision focused on where it is you want to go, what you want to build, what you want to create. You will find that you have a lot more support than perhaps you might perceive in other circumstances throughout your life to really like witness those visions coming into formation in one way or another. That is what this energy is seeking to do. We're also kind of like turning a page here. This is extremely transitional. This is extremely transformational. Saturn in the end of Pisces also has to do with like ending karmic cycles, dropping or releasing some type of karmic burden or karmic baggage maybe that we've been carrying or that we've been caught up in for a while. So there is a very transcendent quality to the way that these varying dynamics, energetic dynamics are coming together right now as well. But I'm telling you guys, keep the dream alive, okay? There are going to be opportunities that could be bigger or better than you may have imagined or anticipated that could be coming around the corner if they haven't already showed up in your life here. And yeah, it's just very important to be mindful of what you are allowing your imagination to focus on, because things are changing quickly. And again, there is just like a quicker, I feel like a quickening in terms of the ability for the ethereal to translate into the physical in this energy at this point in time. And this week, of course, we're talking about this in the context of Venus. That would be relationship dynamics. That would be things to do with finances. This is also like artistic expression, okay? This could be a time where there are some like really just like masterful works of art and things along those lines being created. But there's also likely to be just a level of seriousness or significance in the context of maybe like the meaning of the connections coming into play right now, or the potential or the value that they might represent. So I do think there could be some important or serious developments that now begin to take place, maybe starting this week and moving forward. This is Venus energy that we're talking about. Venus is the planet currently that is forming that grand water trine. So, that is speaking to, and why I keep saying these like big deals or investments or commitments. Mergers also is a word that keeps coming to my mind to just kind of like describe the way that this energy feels right now. Negotiations as well might be taking place that help things to develop or move forward somehow. There's for sure a pretty prominent financial angle to all of this as well. There could be like securing funds or like donations and stuff like that that somehow come through this week that are helping to further things or move things forward or structure things or get things off the ground somehow. This could also represent, of course, these serious partnership or relationship dynamics that are coming into formation somehow. This is a great week actually for any type of networking. Marriages, unions, couplings, whether they are, pertaining to a romantic situation or even just like a business situation, they are likely to be long lasting, abundant, and add or create some type of value if they're coming into formation in this particular energy of this week. Also, as I referenced a little bit a minute ago, valuable art, music, building projects, or projects really of any kind may also be in a process of coming into creation somehow as we have this Venus grand water trine coming through this week, there is a stability, growth, and abundance that is going to be associated with the commitments and the investments occurring now. Saturn represents endurance. Okay, when we're talking about Saturn, this is the ability to persist. This is a strong, stable foundation. And then with Jupiter there, this is success, blessings, growth, expansion. Saturn and Jupiter together also give us an ability to incorporate both like the small details that are necessary to make a project successful with the grand vision that is also required in order to make any type of project successful. So we truly do have a more supported ability to like integrate the varying dimensions of like whatever it is that we're working on in a way that is likely to lead to a more long-term Saturn successful outcome, Jupiter. So again, use this energy. People are probably going to be taking the things that they're engaged with seriously, also with that Saturn energy, and also Saturn stationing this week. Saturn does have a tendency to place an added level of significance or seriousness or like sobriety or somberness or refinement or again like detail orientation to a situation. It can make us more practical. Now, granted, Saturn is in the sign of Pisces, but still, this is like tying the vision to its potential to like ground and manifest. So it is just any way you look at it, to me, it's suggesting that we do have a very beautiful time right now to like set some goals, make some plans, and start working towards them, because they will probably translate into whatever successful outcome you're looking for in a more flowing, natural, maybe even again like faster way than, or better way or bigger way than perhaps you had anticipated or imagined. There's an ability to recognize potential that can translate into value for sure with this as well. This is also like a very intuitive hunch type of energy, you know, like just feeling a call towards something, knowing that it's the right thing and like moving towards that, and then it turns out being like exactly the missing piece or exactly what you needed or exactly the thing that would solve the problem or exactly the connection that helps things grow, that helps things develop, that helps things move forward somehow. So things that add value are very much indicated here as well, and it could also represent some very beneficial meetings or connections or collaborations. Collaborating is another energy that is being suggested to be very supportive in the context of these like long-term successful outcomes right now as well. Legal outcomes are another thing that may go well in the energy of this week. Venus does rule justice and balance and harmony and peace and legal situations generally. With Saturn and Jupiter there, it's like a fair outcome, at least, if not better than you may have expected. This energy is going to be both productive and very persuasive as well if used properly. Great for any type of sales pitch, great for any type of presentation. I was talking about this in my last video. This is charm, like Venus in this water sign trine, and also with Mercury not far off. This is an ability to really say and do and present and appear in a way that is very attractive, is very magnetic, and will have the tendency of getting the outcome or the result that you desire. Even in the context of like authority figures or higher ups and stuff like that, like you can make a very good impression on somebody up there that can benefit you and help you grow or lead to your expansion somehow in the energy of this week. Big money, wealth, class, sophistication, refinement, grace, generosity. These could all be more subtle themes that are coming through here as well. There could also be like big donations that take place, significant exchanges of money or resources going on. Venus is this very it's an energy that has to do with reciprocity and, you know, the balance, the give and take of things, maybe debts being settled here, or even things to do with like inheritances and like wills and stuff like that with Venus and Scorpio. Or This could also be like hidden or missing money that is somehow being discovered or appearing out of nowhere. Or you could learn the true value of something that maybe had been distorted in some type of way. Things could come clear, things could be exposed, things could even be like released. You may also find yourself maybe getting out of something that you had been tied to or enmeshed with for a long period of time that is just like no longer valid for one reason or another. This is a great week for financial gains, promotions, bonuses. The markets are probably going to be doing quite well, I would imagine, in this energy. And there are, as I said a minute ago, definitely positive impressions to be made here, especially if you need to make an impression on somebody that is directly related to like your status or your opportunities or your career or something like that. This could be very good energy actually for career advancement that we've got going on Wednesday and Thursday of this week. People are likely to be more social and business money minded, business money oriented than they normally are. Great for networking, of course, and making those business or financial connections that can have some type of beneficial, productive, or like growth expansion oriented outcome. Now, Wednesday, we have the moon in Aquarius. We have the moon in Aquarius both Wednesday and Thursday of this week. On Wednesday, the moon is in a sextile to Mars, who's currently in Sagittarius. So Wednesday is likely to be quite a spirited day. People could be very energized, kind of fired up. This may be a fast-paced, lively, inspired day. Hope, optimism, encouragement could be a vibe. And again, things moving forward, people wanting to initiate things, sort of get up and go, wanting to get things done, move things forward, make things happen. There could also be sort of like this level of excitement and enthusiasm that's present out there as well, and passions may be running high in the energy of Wednesday also. So people might be on one out there. I just have like, it does feel like a pretty positive vibe. Of course, whenever we're dealing with Moon Mars situation, that can sometimes bring up some anger or some irritation stuff as well. But with the sextile aspect and Venus also in this very benefic position right now, water sign trine with Jupiter and Saturn, it just seems like we're probably feeling pretty hopeful, probably feeling pretty optimistic. Things probably seem like they're coming together, probably feel like they're going to work out, may seem like they're heading in the right direction. And there could just be this like inner flame that's burning to kind of like follow that or pursue that or chase after that or like get the ball rolling somehow. So people should be in a pretty good mood, ready to make it happen on Wednesday. Now, Thursday, as I've been saying, this is kind of the more wild card day this week. That is because we're going to have the moon in Aquarius forming that lunar fixed T-square with Venus, that same planet. Venus is definitely like the energetic focal point of this week. That's why I've been saying this week may really be surrounded or the energy this week may really be surrounding and bringing up themes having to do with like Venus oriented stuff, the love, the money, the relationships, the partnerships, the resources, the assets, the connections, the creativity. Just because Venus is moving through this specific degree range right now where she will first, Wednesday and Thursday form this grand water trine. Then after that, she's going to move on and begin forming another dual aspect, simultaneous aspect, which will be an opposition to Uranus in Taurus, which is, significant because Venus actually rules the sign of Taurus as well. So there's another kind of like enhancement of that Venus energy coming through, but in the context of Uranus as we move through the week. But she will also trine Neptune, who's currently in the sign of Pisces. If you guys remember, we also have Uranus and Neptune in exact aspect right now at the very last degree of their signs. Uranus just backed into Taurus is at 29 Taurus. Neptune is at 29 Pisces. So Venus, after she forms a grand water trine, is going to tick a few more degrees forward and come into opposition with Uranus. We're going to be talking a bit about that in the next video, but it's being activated in the energy of Thursday because the moon in Aquarius is going to square those fixed sign planets. It's moving through the end of Aquarius, going to square Venus, who will be 3 degrees out from exact opposition to Uranus on Thursday. So that energy is building, that energy is intensifying, but the moon coming through and hitting that square is going to activate the opposition between those two planets. Venus, again, love, money, relationships, creativity, balance, peace, harmony. Uranus, expect the unexpected, shocks and surprises, making sudden changes out of nowhere, the Great Awakener. These two planets in an opposition together, like, people could surprise you, preferences and values and what we want suddenly changing or shifting, things just being strange, unusual, out of the ordinary, unexpected meetings and encounters, things not going according to plan, especially in the social context or the financial circumstances and stuff like that. So there could be, again, like, I don't know that it'll be upsets. I mean, because of the Jupiter energy right there, things are likely to lean positive. Like, they could be like unexpected surprises that like aren't bad, but are still destabilizing somehow, or still like disturb the peace, or like shake us out of our comfort zone. But like, things just may not be going according to plan. People could surprise you. Sudden unanticipated change in the context maybe of these relationships or financial dynamics, surprise or spontaneous meetings, arrivals, purchases and sales, unexpected gains, reciprocity, peace, harmony, balance. People may actually get along or connect in unexpected ways here, or things could be happening just in generally unusual, unconventional, untraditional ways. Not necessarily bad, just different. So there's likely to be just a strange or unusual quality maybe to the day on Thursday. This is also the day that Saturn stations direct. This is a big deal. Now we are finally, again, about to be done with an energy that has been ongoing basically since May of 2023. Saturn did enter Aries for a brief period of time, not too long ago, before stationing retrograde and re-entering the sign of Pisces. But since 2023, you may have been wrapped up in some type of trial or tribulation that you are likely going to find is coming to a close or concluding this week, next week, over this next couple of months. Saturn will remain in Pisces through February of 2026 and then re-enter Aries. And at that point in time, we're going to be getting serious about taking action towards, again, like making something happen. We've really just got this last couple of months here where things are kind of sort of getting sorted out. Patterns are shifting, beliefs are shifting, the structure of the way that we are doing things is shifting, but this Saturn Aries transit coming up here is really going to be like entering kind of like a whole new era of life that is probably going to be characterized by like some radically different like structures or forms of foundations than whatever we've been existing within in the past. Belief systems are definitely changing with this. Saturn in Pisces has been about the breakdown and the reestablishment of belief systems. Pisces rules our beliefs, our spiritual connection, and again, like the way that we relate to the aspects of our reality that are unseen, and then how those translate into our physical experience. Okay, so you may have experienced your beliefs about things fundamentally changing over this past couple of years. This has also been about spiritual lessons, spiritual tests, spiritual endurance, the ability to maintain faith in the face of difficulty, to maintain the power and the belief in a higher power, in the unseen, even when the physical reality maybe seems to deny that. If you feel like you've been tested over this past couple of years, it's probably because you have, because there's a lesson that you need to learn that is directly related to the way that you're going to be building, forming, and structuring your new reality moving forward. There has also been Saturn is the lord of karma. Saturn is the lord of time. Saturn retrograding through Pisces, the last degree of the zodiac. This has also been about a shedding or a release of karmic burdens and karmic baggage that we may have been carrying for a long time, for a lifetime, generationally even perhaps, and the emergence of a new experience or a new reality, as I've been saying, is what is going to follow this. But we do have to sever those ties with the past programming, the past belief system, the past karmic loops and lessons and tests that we've been working through in order to begin to move forward in this very new direction that is indicated to be coming. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different reasons why I perceive us as kind of like emerging into a new phase of reality within our existing lives at this point in time and moving forward. But Saturn is beginning a new transit of the entire zodiac. That's a 30-year process. So if we are only looking at Saturn alone, something new is about to begin and is going to be on a whole nother level from whatever the past 30 years has represented. Okay. With Saturn stationing direct on Thursday, this could also be things being established, things being formed, also things being accounted for, built, or structured in a way that provides a foundation or presents an opportunity for things to start developing in a new direction going forward. I hope I'm not being too repetitive here, but all this energy is kind of circling right back around to that same point. Remember also Saturn currently in the trine to Jupiter. We have cosmic support in our effort to build a new future based on a higher vision, right? This visionary master builder energy, this manifestation window. It is about the opportunity to translate that higher purpose, higher potential into an active and tangible reality. Dreams coming true, the impossible becoming possible. This is also representing to me a revival of faith. We're talking about spiritual tests, we're talking about spiritual lessons. I feel like the potency also of the manifestation energy associated with this period of time is one of the things that may be creating this sense of spiritual revival as people actively experience the hand of God or a sense of this divine orchestration as a result of perhaps some of these manifestations or some of these visions translating into the reality that can be explained in no other way other than the intervention or collaboration with a very tangible spiritual influence or higher power. So I do think that spiritual revival, Saturn in the end of Pisces about to station direct in a trine to Jupiter. Jupiter is also faith and trust and belief. Saturn in the sign of Pisces, this is restoring our faith, okay, in some very big ways. So I do think this is a time maybe of some profound spiritual experiences that function as some type of collective spiritual revival that goes on right now as well. So we are about to enter, and we really already have entered a season of big opportunities to grow, expand, and be successful. Things may be changing, shifting, or aligning in shocking or unexpected ways in order to make that possible. There could be some truly just unexplainable or miraculous connections or pieces that are coming together at this point in time, but this is the point in time. With these alignments going on, there is a lot of synchronicity, there is a lot of almost seeming divine intervention that could be playing out here. This is all about doing things differently as well, not falling back into old patterns of perception, old patterns of belief, old patterns of thinking. Transformation, transition, and being also receptive to the changes that are required right now, also to align more with where we're about to start moving forward is something that we may be dealing with or experiencing as we move through this time as well. Things are foundationally changing or have already changed, and that change is now being ingrained, I think, over this next couple of months in a way to prevent relapses or regressing back into those old patterns of belief or existence or experience. The nodes right now, the North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo, is also telling this same story. We talked a lot about that during the eclipse season, but it's interesting because while we've got Saturn, in the last few degrees of Pisces right now about to conclude this, which is also about changing the way that our belief systems are structured within us, and therefore the reality that we are experiencing as a result. The South Node in Virgo is similarly about karmic release, and that has to do with thought patterns in the sign of Virgo, like really very close to the same things. And then the North Node also in the sign of Pisces, that's the destiny point. That is these spiritual lessons and spiritual growth. And if you guys have been following the channel for a while, whenever I've been talking about the nodes and their transit through North Node Pisces, South Node Virgo, I've been talking about this karmic release associated with the thought patterns that have kept us ingrained in a past way of doing or being or living, essentially, and the spiritual growth that really is the catalyst for that, which is indicated by the position of the North Node in Pisces. So we've got, again, that's another like energetic theme right now that is coming through in more than one way, but telling the same story. So a time of karmic clearing, a time of spiritual tests, spiritual lessons, divine alignment, blessings, growth for sure. There is a very positive social orientation to things this week. Again, shoot your shot, ask for what you need. It's likely to go better than you might have expected, especially if you have been like prepared, if you have like a nice presentation to things. The presentation does matter this week, but it's going to be easier also than normal to like create a beautiful image. So we've got that working for us. But make sure that if you need to make a positive impression on somebody, that you're like putting your best foot forward. You know what I mean? Again, Venus trining Saturn. This is like class, refinement, sophistication, grace. I like said a couple of those words earlier. It's not like overly frivolous or extravagant. Another benefit of the Saturn-Jupiter trine right now is it is like moderating the excess that Jupiter can tend to bring. Like, I do need to say, be careful being maybe a little bit like overindulgent in the Thanksgiving vibe and the celebrations and gatherings and stuff that might be ongoing this week, because Venus trine Jupiter can have a tendency of like going a little bit heavy, like a little too much of a good thing. But with Saturn there, again, this is moderating that to some extent. I do think generally it should be a good week for, families getting together, gatherings, spending a lot of money too. That would also be indicated with a Venus-Jupiter trine. Lastly, the position of the Earth on Thursday, 6 degrees of the sign of Gemini. That Sabian symbol is miners emerging from it is workmen drilling for oil. I always get that symbol confused with miners emerging from a deep coal mine because they like have similar vibes. But this is, Venus is in the sign of Scorpio. Venus is also coming into a conjunction with the black moon, which is not something that I really spent too much time talking about in the report for today. We'll talk about it in the next report, because that is when that alignment is going to come exact. There could be some like deep inner integration that's going on this week as well, especially maybe in terms of feminine energy. But with Venus and Scorpio, this is intense, this is penetrating, it is about going deep, but there is great, tremendous value to be extracted through our efforts, through our endeavors. The resources that can come from this will be valuable, will be worth it. So put your best foot forward this week, you guys. Set your goals, make your plans, hold your visions, keep a handle on where you're letting your mind wander to, and you may be very surprised at the positive, productive, beneficial, maybe even larger than life, better than you could have expected or anticipated way that things may find their way into your life this week. So we're embracing change here, you guys. Venus is what we love. Venus is what we desire. There are upgrades that are seeking you, and we just need to allow them in and be willing to let go of the old dimensions of ourselves that are keeping us tethered to a past version that is just not the direction that God or Great Spirit or universe wants us to take going forward. So that's what I have to say for our astrology today, you guys. Now we have a tarot message to get into, which I find to be like really cute because it to me is like exactly reflecting the vibes that I would expect to see out there this week. We have the Page of Cups and then we have the Three of Pentacles, which is clearly an offer to collaborate, an offer to work together, to, you know, to come together, to build something, to work towards a goal. Like the Three of Pentacles is literally about these people coming up with a plan and figuring out how they're going to work together to create, to accomplish, to do something, to get something done. The Page of Pentacles is an offer. This could be a lighthearted offer. This could be, you know, maybe something that is not all that significant. This is again like a more social energy. But for sure, there seems to be some type of offer or opportunity to work together to get something done. On the back of the deck also, we have the Page of Pentacles with the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. So it's like whatever this is, like it may seem small right now, but it actually has tremendous potential to become something that is bigger and better than we would have ever anticipated, to become like the picture of success and something that can last a long period of time, like something that goes the distance, something that is very abundant and fruitful and provides like great lasting results. So if you get an opportunity to collaborate, if somebody gives you an offer, there could be actually a lot more value in that than you may initially perceive. We've got both the Page of Cups and the Page of Pentacles. Like it might just seem like something silly at first, but actually have the ability to translate into something that is bigger or better or more successful than, you know, whatever it seemed like at first. And it is about this collaboration, people coming together type of energy. And again, Venus is the planet doing the most this week, and she also rules those very same themes. So that's my perception of that right there. Now I'm going to get us one final card, you guys. This is a synchronicity card. I'm asking God, Great Spirit, Universe, however you connect to that higher power out there, that is where this energy, that's where this message is coming from. What piece of guidance or advice it will most benefit us to take with us as we move through the midpoint of our week this week? What should we tell ourselves or remind ourselves of or use as a little mantra out there? What do we need to know? What should we focus on? Okay, we have a card. And our card says stop fighting the situation, which is interesting. You know, that's obviously about surrender. And the sign of Pisces is also about surrender. And Saturn is stationing direct in the sign of Pisces. Again, like surrendering to the changes underway right now, not fighting a situation. There could really be some wisdom in that, because that might just be what is required at this point in time in order to really change things for the better in some type of a significant way. This card says, be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good, Romans 12:21. Don't fight or wage war in your own mind. The enemy is a negative thought of fear, anger, hostility in your own mind. Don't act under the sway of negative emotions. Replace the negative thought with a positive one. Claim all the while that God is guiding you and giving you peace of mind. Seek spiritual guidance. Read your Bible or go to church in, you know, whatever way that's meaningful to you. So keep a handle, you know what I mean? Like, we need to stay aligned with our faith throughout the course of the weekend. Don't let other people's negativity pull you off course from like your own personal trajectory right now. Don't act under the sway of negative emotions. And we just need to do our best to maintain the faith and surrender to the changes that are taking place right now. Stop fighting the situation. So that is what I have to say for our video today, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope there was something in there for you. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would also enjoy this type of astrology content. Leave me comments, you guys. Let me know what's going on with you out there. If you are having experiences that line up with or reflect what I'm talking about in this video, what I'm talking about in any of my videos, definitely let me know. Drop me a comment. Tell me all about it. That is very valuable information to me. And if you want to know what's on this whiteboard, I have a Facebook group linked in my description box below where I post images of those boards. That's where you can find that. And come back with me on Friday, you guys. We're going to have a weekend astrology video to get into. Mercury stationing direct this weekend. Venus is coming into the opposition with Uranus and the trine to Neptune. We got more astrology going on out there, and I will be back to talk all about it. So you don't want to miss it. I'll see you next time, guys. Have a beautiful Thanksgiving if you're celebrating. Have a beautiful midpoint of your week. And until next time, bye.